accept the minutes as written.
Second. Okay, the motion on the second, all in favor? Now opposed? I have no motion carried. All right, item number 4, the public address. Mr. Dan Lewis.
Say again?
You have for public address?
Yes. All right, I'm trying to get Mr. Nick Cole.
Yes, I'm Nick Cole. I'm here representing Mr. Lewis. I believe this incident involves a event that Mr. Lewis promoted recently here at the Civic Center, for which there is allegedly an outstanding balance with the Civic Center. Mr. Lewis is not here denying that he owes something. He is disputing the amount as far as what was sent to him in this demand letter, which I'll note is the demand letter was sent on Friday with the demand for payment 3 days later on Monday, in the amount of $3,669. Mr. Lewis disputes that amount. My understanding agreement was for 89 tables at $15 a table, and for 8 security guards, $25 an hour for 4 hours. That his position is also
Sheriff deputies, not
sheriff deputies, and also for just the security of the tables.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I hired extra security myself.
And his position is that his bill should be $2,135, and he's willing to pay that amount, and would just be asked to give him a week to do so.
Am I open for me to speak on that? Is this the contract that's attached? Contract I have attached to the whole contract on a reference story for the course of this week. This trip is going to be a copy of that contract. But while she was going to get that contract, I would just like to point out there were 8 deputies at $25 per hour at 7 hours, which comes to $175 per deputy, which was $1,400. I have the receipts for all 8 of those deputies that we paid, or I paid, or the cities have paid through our account in contemplation that at the end of the night, or at some point later thereafter, that we will be receiving full compensation for the 8 deputies. The contract, and just from my recollection until this trigger comes back, generally calls for 12 security deputies. One of the things I indicated to Mr. Lewis was that we would require 8 deputies who have arresting authority. That's why I did with deputies, but we need 12 people total. The other 4 people, individual, and I took Mr. Lewis around to 2 entrances that people from the inside have access to, opening from the inside to let outside people who had not paid come in. So I took him to those entrances, showed him and said, this is where I would suggest you put your 4 people. The 4 people that he would have didn't necessarily have to be certified. Certified meaning that they didn't necessarily have to have weapons, they didn't necessarily have to have arresting power, but they did have to have paraphernalia on indicating that they were security. So that's what we talked about, that's what was agreed upon. So we took them to those areas because the deputies who have arresting authority park generally in the front area for visibility of people when they come. When they also, when the people come in, we have deputies in the main area and the foyer checking as far as for things that they're not supposed to bring in. We also have deputies at the metal detector as people are coming in, and the rest of the deputies pretty much walk the facility just to show visibility. So even though I said that the contract only calls for 12, I only said we have to have 8 paid deputies, but I need 12 bodies here. And the other 4 would be people that he had the discretion to bring in who he wanted to bring in, and that's what he did. He brought in several individuals, and they supposed to have manned those doors that I had taken them to show where those outside people can come in, somebody from the inside allow them to come in. As far as the tables are concerned, at this point, what I would like to do, could you have Mr. Diane along with Mr. Willie just have Diane for us here. If you could take one. No, that's just the top page. So we can take one and pass it around. That's what it is. So it'll bring to your attention under the special conditions.
I'll have my glasses on, so you have to.
I would like to bring your attention to where it has under special conditions, proof of liability insurance of $1 million, which was satisfied. Security guards, 12 guards at $25 per hour per guard. And there's a vendor fee of $250 per vendor fee. This was signed copies of the contractual agreement with Mr. Just have this side. I'll tell you what, excuse me 1 second. Have Diane come, when Diane leave, she'll ask Mr. Willis. Just have him close by. So the 12 security guards are going to get $25 per guard. Just give us a minute and we'll call you my name. Just stay close by. Thank you. So in effect, I didn't think that the Sheriff's Department had 12 deputies that they could give at any one time, because I know we don't have that many deputies throughout. So I always ask for 8 in cases of concerts. We ask for 8, but I said we still have to have 12 people. You have to have an additional 4 people, and those 4 people can man. Just give us a minute. Thank you. Those 4 people would man, like I said, the other interests that people have access to come in from the outside. So as it states in this contract, 12 guards and $25 per hour. Dan and I talked because we were initially supposed to open the doors at 7. However, we knew with the magnitude of the show that we were putting on, he and I talked. We indicated that the deputies would come in at 6 o'clock. And they would go from 6 to 1 o'clock. Because we knew that there was a long line of people who were going to be coming, because the show had been particularly promoted extremely well, not only through this organization, but through the radio station, through other media outlets, as far as social media. And I knew in order for us to get the people in quickly and get the people in safely and without it bogging down the foyer and the officers, we agreed at 6 o'clock that those deputies would be here. The deputy got here about 5:30, because they generally get here about 30 minutes prior to their time of service, but they were paid from 6 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And again, I have all the receipts for every deputy that was paid, and there was only 8 of them at that time. Now, what I would like to do with that is ask Diane to step into it. And I just want to bring her in as the person who set the table for that, she can give us an input on. You said there was only 89 tables or something. Let me speak on that.
I didn't say there were 89. That's what I saw.
Just want to have a quick question for you. This is Diane Leeson. She's the go-getter person. You got to say so. She does it all. She's been here for quite some time. She's the person who does all the maintenance, the setup too, so she does a really good job. But when we set up for the King George concert, how many tables did you physically put out?
120.
120? Okay. Thank you. See if Mr. Willie is on that side.
He's right here.
Ask him something. Can I explain as to why I wanted these 2 individuals to come in and how the additional tables came in? by Mr. Williams and gravel. So what I did after having Diane to count the tables, about 30 minutes later, I had Mr. Woodley to count the tables, which neither knew what the other had counted. This way, how you doing?
How you doing?
This is Mr. Nixie, who does maintenance and so forth, put tables out and so forth. On the day of that King George concert, January 25th, you went and counted the table that we put out. Do you recall that number? 120. 120? Okay, thank you. That's all. All right. So it's not as if the Civic Center didn't have additional tables, but these 3 rows here were there for a birthday or another function. So any additional tables were over here. So after we had all the tables placed out, if you know the layout of the Civic Center over where the slide door is, if you know the layout of the Civic Center, and then on the opposite end of the Civic Center, there's the 2 doors where we had one of the security guards that Mr. Lewis provided was supposed to be being sure that nobody was coming in. That's another area where additional tables were placed. So at the time when they counted the 120, there were no tables in those other 2 sides for the slide door along with the opposite end. Mr. Lewis wanted to maximize the number of tables. Of course, I obliged, because if we could get tables, and that only helps us, he gets paid for the table as well as the Civic Center gets paid for the table. So he indicated that he needed approximately 12 more tables. I called my brother, asked my brother to go to our rec center, Green Community Recreation Center, and get 12 tables. And we brought those 12 tables along with 50 chairs, because we needed chairs for the tables. So that's how we ended up with 132 tables. And if I recall, having seen Miss Jones at the Civic Center at that function, one of her tables was not even made available to her, and I had to provide her with a table. Could you attest to that?
Yeah.
So from the standpoint of 132 tables, we definitely put out 132 tables. I had 2 individuals to count, which initially had 120 tables that we provided. He needed additional tables, being that this organization had practically bent over backwards. Our employees had bent over backwards to accommodate this function, and we thought that was going to be a really good working relationship. Because not only that, we had plans for future events, such as this Kevin Richardson show, My Girl Lele, along with some things that we're looking at doing for the new year. So he and I were on a level to the point that I entrusted and pretty much thought it was a good relationship, long-term relationship coming. So at that point, that's the number of tables that we put out. And as you see on this ballot that I have in the book, the 8 deputies at the $1,400, the 132 tables at $15 per table, the 1 vendor at $250 because that was one of the gentlemen that he wanted in. He wanted some food for the artists. I paid for that because we didn't sell fish. However, we had a person here who was selling fish. I purchased fish from that gentleman, got 2 turkey legs from our concession, which I paid for, and took that back. That was a lot more than $30. However, I only stayed $30 in that regard. So with that being the case, that's where the $3,669 came from. But before I go any further, are there any questions in regard to what I stated before I go further?
I have one. Now, so what is the discrepancy? Why are we here with the attorney and Mr. Lewis, who have a signed contract?
Here's my discrepancy. Here's my discrepancy. And I'm not disagreeing with the amount of tables, the amount of guards, or any of that. I actually hired 6 people. And let me just say this. I've been coming to this building for over 20 years doing business. I know this building like the back of my hand. I can walk around in it with my eyes closed. Okay? What I'm disputing is being charged for things that I didn't make money off of. Now, Ms. Jones' table was not giving her what she paid for, but I reimbursed her for her table that she wasn't paid for. Here's my thing. The relationship is still good with me. I'm not disputing being paid, but the way I see this, paying what I owe, is that every entity that goes on with the show, other people are making money off of it. And the only opportunity that I had to make money is to hope that I sell enough tickets for the show to be good. Now, I was very generous too, and the staff was generous with me. Willie and Diane, Ms. Trumbull, the few people that they have here. Extra services to me when I do this. When I'm in a building at Diamond Hall, Mississippi Gulf Coast College, Landing Center, anywhere, I've never had a building to charge vendors to come in and set up. If anybody wanted to come in and participate in the show, they would have to deal with the promoter. Now, that's in the contract, okay? And
Well,
I gotta be
I
honest.
don't mean to cut you off.
Let me finish.
Hold on 1 second.
I know
Hold
it's
on.
in the
I don't mean
contract.
to cut you off, but were these things not discussed before the contract was signed?
Listen to me. Yes, sir. Okay? But here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Being generous as well, I gave away a lot of tickets. I gave away a lot of tickets. And I thought we were working on merit too, as well as reading off the fine print of the contract. Okay? Now, as far as having somebody come from the outside, it ain't the $250. Selling food and things that don't work for the Civic Center, that's not related to me as a promoter, I don't feel that I should be charged for that. I don't know nowhere else in the world that they do that at. Now, here's my thing. It was told to me that you were waiving the facility fee, okay, and you getting the $15 per table. I'm good with that. But the consumers came here and still paid a fee to purchase tickets here from the Civic Center. So why should I be charged for tables that I didn't actually sell? My goal with that night was to fix whatever was wrong with the customers, because I wanted people to come in here and have a good show so that we can keep coming back, having shows. Now, I've been coming down here forever. There's no way in the world that I should be paying almost $7,000 to rent a building in Greenwood, Mississippi, when I can rent the Marlow County Expo Center, the Washington County Convention Center, and the Trotter Convention Center, all three at the same time for less. That's all I'm disputing. I don't care about people making money. I don't care. I even gave some of the workers tickets, and that was on me. I'm not complaining about any of that. Because whatever I do for somebody, I do it out of the goodness of my heart. That's kind of personal. And I want to work with everybody, okay? But if I was going to be charged for the tables, this man here, Chief Banks, who partnered with me on the show, told me that I can go get tables and bring them here to be used. And I actually can do that. And you said no.
That's right.
So why should I be charged for tables that I made no money off of when I'm sitting here in my apartment is willing to donate me tables to help make the table? I don't know why the tables got messed up, and they ain't pointing fingers at nobody. I only wanted to fix it. And what you know, I've done the best I could to do that. That's all the reason I'm here. I'm not disputing the owing the Civic Center anything. I just don't feel that it's fair to be upcharged to pay $1,500 a flat fee, charge people to buy tickets, or a fee on top of the tickets, and to be paying for all this extra stuff when the contract down at the bottom says extra services, but you don't even have the staff to afford me extra services. Ticket takers, ushers, loaders, riggers, electricians, ain't none of that stuff here. Everything that came in, the guy had to pay for it. That's all I'm saying, people. I want to come back here. I want to bring my business back here. I like this building. I like the people down here. But I don't want to be targeted as just because the show makes money that everybody get their hand in on the money. Just be fair with me. That's all I'm asking, and I think that is unfair.
Let me respond to that if I may. And you may reference, when I speak on this, what you meant by when you said outside food. What are you talking about?
The guys that were out there cooking turkey legs and wings.
Okay. The people who was outside cooking the turkey legs and the wings actually worked for the Civic Center. That was a trade-off. Which venues have nothing to do with you in that regard. Whoever, if we let people come in for free, according to back your contract and every contract, if you've been here over the last 20 years, you would be very well aware, not only in the past that they do their own vendors, they did their own tables, they did percentage tables, they did the facility fee, along with a number of other charges that were done. So as far as the vendors that were here, those vendors come through me. See, and as far as you said, a fee for the tickets, every ticket outlet, whether it be the ones with in Grenada, the ones with the shoe, the guy that does the shoe, they all charge a handling fee for selling tickets. Because that takes away time from somebody's time. Let me finish if you would. That takes away from somebody's time to get from their regular duty, their 8-hour duties, when people are calling to purchase tickets, be that through the phone or over the phone, or if they physically come in, there's always been a charge for that. You go to any of the ticket outlets, whether event right or whoever, there's always a service charge for that. So when our people have to stop their work to do that, that service charge has always been there. So that has been nothing different. But in this particular case, it was $1,500 for the rental of the facility, $1,400 in table. That's only $2,900. And even the money that's coming out of the table does not directly come out of your pocket because you sold tables at $150.
Well, still,
just let me finish and then you can rebut.
Yeah, but you're changing the narrative.
No. Let me finish and you can rebut.
I base the price of the show based on what the show costs.
Let me finish and then you can rebut. Because initially, which I have in your packet for it, a letter from Just in Time Music, which is John Ray. This letter indicates of a meeting that Danny and I had in my office about a month or not long ago, indicating that initially the tables were supposed to be $25 per table. That's what the Civic Center were going to sell the tables to Mr. Lewis for $25 a table. But during that conversation, I was trying to suggest that because this was the first time I had ever heard tables in the County Civic Center or any place for that matter being sold at $150.
It's the first time this type of artist.
Just let me finish and then
but you're changing the narrative.
No, I'm not.
You brought up Mr. John Ray, which has nothing to do.
It has a lot to do with it because I have a witness who was there, who couldn't be here, but he did send a drafted letter where he swore to that took place. So that's getting how we got to the $15 table as opposed to the initial $25 table. I'm trying again to work with this gentleman, and we took the table from $25 down to $10. It's a $15 table. See? And we left out of that meeting all on the same accord. Because at that point, John Ray, according to his letter and according to it being in the meeting, was a part of that show. Later on, he was somehow ousted, but he was a part of the show at that time. So when we left out of there, all the dots had been, all the I's had been dotted, all the T's had been crossed, and we were all on the same accord. And if that meeting had there been any questions or any reservations, that's when that should have come up. But this shouldn't come up several days after I send. It shouldn't come up several days after I send you an itemized bill of what the final receipts are. See, but had that come up at that time, whatever negotiation needed to have taken place should have come up. But to say you're paying close to $6,000 for a facility in Greenwood, to me, somehow it's insulting. It's close to it, but it's not close to it because it's only $2,900 that you actually had to pay out, $1,500 along with the $1,400. Just keep in mind, if we had to charge for the facility fee, with over 2,200 people coming in that building that night through the counter, the facility fee would have been even more. So we waived the facility fee, and that was one of the reasons we said that we have to make up, in which we was already selling concessions because we have sole rights to sell concessions. So we had to make up through table. So we had to make up through that as well as business. That has been nothing that the Civic Center hasn't done in many years in the past. So the $1,400, there's no question whether or not those deputies were paid. We paid that. So it's nothing as if they wasn't paid. And I'll say this and I'll yield to you, is that had you spoken to me, and I just want to read some part of the text, and I can provide it to the board. Had you provided this, that would have been something that I think that could have easily been worked out if there were discrepancies or if there was some type of reservations on your part. But what gets me is that when you and I talked initially back on February 4th at 11:36 a.m., after several days had gone by and you had not gotten back with me about the payment, I sent you a text saying, hey, what time will you be in Greenwood today to take care of this? And you text back, hi, I'm coming down, but I'm going to dispute some of those charges. $3,669 and way too much overcharge. I'm ending up spending almost $6,000 for a building in Greenwood, Mississippi. I don't mind paying, however, my board has that information. And so I said, and you basically said you didn't mind paying, but paying close to $6,000 for a building in Greenwood. I said, well, no, that's your right, but what time are you coming? Because I'm going to make myself available. I was here, and you text me back, I'll be there by 2:30, thank you, we're going to work it out. I said, see you then. And that was around, so by 2:50, since you had not made it here by 2:30, I sent you a text asking you what was going on, why weren't you here? You said that you were en route, you're just on Highway 7. I said, okay. At 3:54, I text you, hey bro, this isn't business. You said 2:30, it's 3:54, what's the problem? You said running behind, you're headed to a board meeting with the city hall, you get in touch with me when you leave. And at 5:23, to me, this is where it all went upside down. You indicated to me through text, my attorney, Chris Colvin, has advised me to let him handle this. He will be in touch with you, thanks. And I said, no problem. And at that point, I referred this information to some board members along with our attorney, and he was the one who prepared the information. And then the next morning, you contacted me asking about being on the agenda. I had no problem with this, but what I did, I contacted the board attorney to be sure, because anytime a person invokes attorneys, I let attorneys do what attorneys do. I try not to get involved in that. But when the attorney indicated that it was okay for you to come to the board meeting, I text you back, let you know what time, what date the board meeting would be. And of course, here we are. So, but as far as saying close to 6,000, we're talking $2,900 for tables along with the deputies. So the deputies had to be, and had I charged you the full amount, 12 deputies at $25, that would be even more. That's what the contract calls for. Again, trying to build a good working relationship, I tried to minimize as much as I possibly could when it came to helping you financially. Because one of the things that I've always known that promoters like yourself put up a lot. They'll have to take all the risk. So with that being the case, I tried to see what we could do to minimize, because I was anticipating a long-term working relationship, because we'd already talked about having some other things together. So, but I'm not understanding, had we charged a regular facility fee along with deputies, that would have been even more. If I didn't charge for 12 deputies as opposed to 8. So I'm thinking that I'm doing you a justice by trying to help minimize.
I know Mr. Lewis, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I guess board knows I'm always for questions. I always think before I ask my questions. Who changed the table charges from the $15 or $25 to the $150?
The table charges were never changed on my end. What John Ray is talking about has nothing to do with what I'm doing. This was my show. John Ray came to me just as when I met Mr. Banks, allegedly being an investor, okay, which I initially thought about allowing him to do that. But when I saw what he was doing, was basically trying to Shanghai the show, said a person here to sell tickets that he or I, neither one knew. I didn't know until I picked the tickets up. I had the tickets made to bring down here. He didn't know this lady, neither did I. And he had a bank account set up at Regis for this lady to sell tickets and go put the money into the bank account. Now, that don't have anything to do with us.
$150 only printed on the ticket?
No, I'm going to try to say a point, but I believe I understand what you're asking. Okay. If I understand this correctly, Mr. Lewis was charging patrons $150 each per table. Right. And then paid the facility $15 for each table he sold. That's correct. And what he's disputing here today is he only sold 89 tables. The additional 43 tables he didn't make any money off of, which is why he feels he should not have to pay for it.
So now I have a question for that. So when I look at that, and I heard it say that table, so where did the additional table, because if that's what you sold it off the ticket, pre-sold those tables, right?
Yes, sir, that's what I collected money.
Okay, so I guess my question is, so now I'm looking at two numbers. I'm looking at 120 tables at one point. And I'm trying to figure out if you prepaid for 89. Let's say 90.
No, they don't pay us directly at
But
first.
then if you sold them, when I got what it said, so how did you arrive at the 120?
The 120. You want me to answer that?
Now, that's what they put out on the floor. But here's what I'm saying. Morally, if you're establishing a good relationship, let me go back to about the service charge on with other businesses. I'm not renting those other businesses that are selling tickets. So they have a right to charge a service charge for that. To my understanding, sheriff deputies are here not to do security in any county building I go to. They are there because it's a county building, and they are there to secure their building because they have a resting authority, okay? The other security guards are on me, okay? Now, I'm not going to even dispute how long those guys were here. Honestly, I don't even remember. I do remember talking about opening up the show at 6 o'clock because I was more concerned not about the people, but it being cold. And I didn't want people to stand out in the cold waiting for the doors to open. I mentioned that to you, was my main thing. I'm not even against paying the sheriff deputies the 75 or whatever it is, whatever that amount is. What I don't want to do is be exploited for money, which I feel like I'm being. I don't care how much it is. As the promoter, if I come in here and rent this building, I should have access to this building. This building does not have staff to facilitate the type of shows that I do. When I say paying almost $6,000, I had to bring guys in and load equipment, load the truck back up. I had to get an electrician over here that somebody he knew that I had to hire to come over in and make sure that the guys were plugging in right into the stuff right so we wouldn't have any problems. That's all I'm saying. And then I was especially nice to the staff and people. If you wanted extra tickets, if you were helping, here, I'm not disputing any of that. I just don't want, that's way too much money. I've never done that. And I've had sold out shows here.
When you said way too much money, what are you talking about specifically?
This
Tables, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about period. Well, however you charge it, whatever you put the price on. I came here and brought Frankie Beverly and maids here that never been here. That was me. Yeah, Mr. Hughes funded the show because he had the radio station, but that was me. I brought King George here. When John Ray brought King George here, that was through my relationship. That's why he can't get him back. All I'm saying is, I don't want to be here arguing about small amounts of money. If we're going to do business, let's be fair and try to make it work for both parties. That's all I'm saying. I go outside and ask for food for my artist, and the guy tells me, I ain't do this. Yeah, well, George, I'm here now. I got to feed him. I could have went and bought buckets of chicken or something, but I'm thinking we working together. That just don't make sense to me. Now, if I have to pay it, I'll pay it. But it don't make sense to me. And it's just not fair.
Did you not know all those things before you started this country?
No, I didn't know I was going to be charged for tables that I didn't make money off of. No, I didn't know that.
I just asked a question that I had, and really that's a question because where I have some confusion, you're saying that you contracted for, you had 89 tables.
I was contracted.
That's what he sold.
That's what
That's
you
what I
sold.
sold,
That's
yes.
what I'm saying. So I guess my question is then who sold additional tables?
He said that he told him to bring the additional tax.
That's what it was.
It's been 140. He said 12.
It was 120 that went through the Civic Center actually had to put down. Then I went and got another 12 based on his.
And I did I told 132.
I
I said the
But
question.
my understanding is that the Civic Center won't hold 132 tables. Where'd you put the table?
There was some that when you were sitting at, there was some on the other side of them where some of the city council members sitting at, they were squeezed in like, they were squeezed in. They were placed in where you wanted them.
So I just, and maybe I'm a little slow, but I'm still trying to figure out. So if you sold 89 tables, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now when you got here, was a request made or did we put down 120 tables to begin?
No, we put down the table that he had asked for.
So did he request 120 tables?
He didn't necessarily say, I want 120, I want 132. He was actually saying, they gave us a layout of how they wanted the table. And one of the caveats to the situation happened when the lighting show that George Show produced had their trussels on the actual floor. So normally those trussels that hold the lighting and so forth would be on the stage, but since they were on the floor, it caused a little deviation in the actual schematics of the.
They never have trussels on. They stack, they normally stack.
However, whatever they do, but in that particular case, we were not able to put tables in the areas initially as he and Ms. Hughes, who have been with the person who sold the tables, showed. But even from that standpoint, And I guess this is going to be a lack of communication, because how do we know how many tables you sold, she sold? So we just know how many we put out. For you to say you only sold 89, how can I prove that? How would I know that?
Well, here's what I'm saying to you, Mr. Johnson. You know this, that I gave you a table, I gave other people.
And what did I do with that table?
I don't know what you done.
Now you saw, you standing right there.
Just hold on.
Ms. Hughes did not have a table, I gave that table.
Hold on, sir. Just give me a minute, because you brought that up, okay? And whatever I've done for somebody, I do it. As respect of coming here doing business, I understand the protocol for doing business, okay? When I go to the Landing Center, I have to give boxes to the Nissan guys, Landers Nissan outlet. I understand all that, okay? But these buildings have the staff, and they have the type of facility that can accommodate everything that I need without me bringing outside people in and paying for it. Now, to my understanding, if I'm being kind and we working together morally, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't read all the stuff in this contract. I can't even see half of it without my glasses, and I still have to. I'm just talking about coming down. I've been coming down here long enough, having sold out concerts, and to talk about table prices and stuff. There's never been a show here that cost this much to produce. Even the May show 15 years ago, because things were different. Gas was low. I had the truck equipment in. I wanted to bring the right sound, the right lights, the LED wall, all this stuff. I had to hire those people to come in here and put that stuff together. Okay? Only thing I'm saying is this show generated a lot of income for this community. Every hotel was sold out. Waffle House, you couldn't even get inside of it. And I'm just saying, I want to come here and do business, but I don't want to be looked at as still. Here comes these guys, let everybody make some money, and that's the way I'm feeling right now.
Let me ask you,
And I'm not just talking about tables or whatever. I was nice to people.
And that's still,
So I want to be honorable and be men. I don't want to have to go down every fine line of no contract coming down here.
and I guess the thing that I'm still confused on, because I don't think it's been answered yet. If you sold 89 tables, right? And so how did we arrive at a figure of what the number of tables is going to be at the beginning? How did we, I see 120, how did we get it 120? Did you give you 120 to sell?
I can better explain that, Mr.
Am I making sense of what I'm asking?
Yeah, I can better explain it, Mr. Cook. Generally, when people come in, even if they want to come in and set up in the 3 rooms or set up a party or whatever the case may be, or banquet, they would get with our personnel and say, hey, we want tables here, we want to set this up. So Ms. Hughes, who was handling the tables from WGNL, had come out days prior and told us exactly how they wanted the tables, how many tables, and we have a certain schematic of how we go about putting tables out. Now, what threw some things off was that when the sound man came, and instead of his equipment all being on the stage, some of it was on the floor. And when that equipment was on the floor, that caused some diversion of some of the tables. We had to change the tables around. But when they initially came in, they told us exactly how many tables they wanted. We told them how many we can get across, how many we can go back, and that's what we did.
So I just like working as an agent for you for tables,
Say it again now.
the lady from WGNL represented with the tables.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Ms. Hughes, she's always done that.
So she's affiliated with you.
Yes, so here's what I'm saying. Just like with Ms. John, if we are working together and we get to this show, money's been made on both sides, and the customer has a problem. At that point in time, I'm not trying to figure out who caused the problem. I'm only trying to figure out how to fix it. And what I'm saying is, if we fixing the problem, let's fix it. Don't fix the problem, then come back to me and say, hey, you owe me for this. Because if that's the case, then if I'm in this building, I should have loads
Do you
and
think?
stagehands.
Do you think there has been on someone's part? Do you think there's been a lack of communication?
Definitely.
And with that being said, with the 89 back on what Mr. Cook was just stating, now I think we need to go back and we'll keep beating this horse. We need to come to a consensus and move on, because there are other things that we have to discuss because it looks like we have a long agenda. But we had 8 or 9, you say you sold 8 or 9 tables. There
Yes.
were 2 persons that had come in and said they put down, they counted 120. And then there were additional tables brought in from another place. Now, plus chairs. Of the 8 or 9 tables that you sold, did you request the additional tables to be brought in?
I did. I asked for a table for Miss Dot. I asked for a table for people that say, I ain't got nowhere to sit.
Okay.
Some of these people didn't even buy a table.
So
I'm
did
just
you,
saying.
okay, when you asked for the other tables to be brought in, were those gift tables or were those tables to be sold?
When I mentioned that we need to get some more tables for people, said, I can help out. We can go get some tables over here. When I came to Mr. Johnson, he said, no, I don't want that. I'll get it taken care of. Is that not right?
That was true, because I can always keep a better count of what we bring in as opposed to some outside entities bringing in.
And to be more specific to the question that you asked, I think you're asking, did he sell those additional tables to make any money?
I did not.
So he gave away 43 different
He did not.
I did not.
Now, that's not.
I did not.
So he did not, so from the 89 to
That's
the,
what we're driving.
right, from the 89 to the 120 or 130, whatever, those tables were not sold at 150.
I did
And so
not.
there were 43 tables accounted for that were not sold. You put out 132, you said you only sold
I
8.
sold 89 tables. In case we didn't send asking for an extra table for her, I reimbursed her for the inconvenience. Did I not? Yes. No one else purchased the table from me at that time.
So, what were you, all right, so they say it's $39.69 is an out fee, right? And you're willing to pay how much?
Our figure was $21.35.
How did you arrive at that figure?
That's 89 tables, is $15 a table. Plus, 8 deputies for 4 hours at $25 an hour.
Those deputies were able for 7 hours.
And, you know, it's
You say 8 differences, what now?
8 deputies
4 hours.
for 4 hours at $25 an hour.
I mean, that we would have to pay for deputies.
Well, let me say why I came to that conclusion. Because normally, to my understanding, sheriff deputies are not in this building to be security. They are here to have arresting authority during the show, while the show is on, because it's a county building.
So you say the county should pay those
No,
tables?
I'm not saying, I'm saying I'd be on paying them, but I was under the impression that they would be here from the time the doors open until the show is over, which was basically about 4.5 hours. We didn't have a 7-hour show. We didn't have a 7-hour show. If you go back and look at Facebook, there's a guy on there ranting and raving about doing Greenwood like this because we could have kept the music playing until 1 o'clock. Okay, now, I ain't even disputing paying the deputies that. Okay? I'm not disputing that. I like Chief Payne, I like some of the deputies who I got no personal, okay? I wasn't keeping up with that particular or specific time for them standing here, okay? My impression was they come in and secure the building to have arresting authority while the show is going on. And security is supposed to be provided by me. I understand that. That's what I already have done. Add the other 3 hours in to that. That's fine. I don't care if it's $1 over. I don't want to be charged for stuff like turkey legs and all of this stuff, man. If we working together.
You keep using that phrase, working together.
Yeah, I'm using that because I gave away enough comp tickets to accommodate any of this stuff, and I didn't have to.
I think it sort of goes back to something that Mr. Sanders asked earlier about the lack of communication. Because had you communicated with me, even the gentleman, Fred Randall, and the other gentleman who was at the front door, not the front door, but they was at the metal detector. Let me just finish this thought if I could. I have no idea. I didn't even know who those gentlemen were because I know they weren't hired by me. And if they were hired by you, you should have brought that to my attention.
I didn't hire Fred Randall.
Okay, well, see. So now we had other people in the facility, Mr. Roach and Mr. Fred Randall, who they were not associated with the Civic Center, they were not, based on what you're saying, not associated with you. So who were they and what capacity?
Here's what I'm saying to you.
So, but let me just finish this one point. So if there were communication, and I'm mostly concerned about tables, say there were only 89 tables sold, because there's no way I would have had my people. Because this goes beyond tables. Somebody had to clean up, somebody had to put everything down, there's utilities fees, so there's a lot of more expense that goes behind, and there's a lot of man hours. But to minimize it by saying that we're working together, if we are working together, there should have been open communication to the point that I should have known exactly how many tables were being sold. I had no knowledge of that. So you can tell us that. We have no idea of knowing that.
Absolutely. And I have no idea of knowing how many you actually brought. What I'm saying is, there was definitely a lack of communication. Okay? Sure. I didn't know Mr. Brown and Mr. Roach didn't work for the sheriff's department. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, I know Roach and Fred from coming down here from Joe's place. I didn't know that. I didn't know what they were doing. Hell, I just saw them doing what they do. Okay, whatever.
Communication.
Right, I like communication. But what you left out with all those text messages that I have, I tried to talk to you after I left the city board meeting and said, Kai, I'm disputing this. But now what you're going to do is you're going to come over here because my time you got it. And that's when I called Chris and said, hey, look, I'm having an issue here. I want to dispute some charges. He said, send it to me and let me handle it, which is what I text you. Sure. Now, I still don't have a good relationship. I don't think, in my opinion, morally, that $1,000 or a couple of $1,000 differences should have to be the difference with me taking my business somewhere else, because I feel like if I keep coming here having shows, I'm going to be met with the same thing. We got a show on March 1st. And I've been told, I don't know, that people come here or call me here to buy tickets, and y'all are telling them that you're not selling the tickets there. What's the tickets that have been left here? So all of this is hurting my business at the price of coming here doing business. I don't want to do that. I want to be treated fair. I want to come up with something that's convenient for both sides. So,
what do you want? What do you want to happen? Tell this board and Mr. Johnson, what do you want? What would you like to happen? We want to hear what you would, not from your attorney, from you. What would you like to happen?
I want to pay, but I feel like I rightfully owe.
What do you feel like you rightfully owe?
$2,135. Plus, I've also paid $1,500 on top of that.
2,000 what?
2,135.
Again, that breakdown is what? Is that breakdown?
That's 89 tables at $15 a table. And the security guards for 4 hours. 8 security guards for 5 hours.
What is that price for those security guards according to your calculation?
This $800.
So 8 security guards for 8 hours, $800. For 7 hours.
All right, so we started out with balance $36.69.
That's correct.
All right. We're gonna take off. He says $21.35, correct?
That was our original $30.
Okay. Now, what else can you take off? Is some of this stuff with the deputy sheriffs and all that, is that more money to take off for the $36.99?
Well, what he's doing, he's looking at
Down 1534.
See what it is down. He said he employed for 7 hours. He's actually paid for 4 hours, which is a difference. Which is not the number charge, but the number of hours they work.
Yes.
So what Ms. Johnson is saying that they paid for 7 hours.
Yeah, we paid for 7 hours.
He's saying to one. His recollection, he felt like 4 hours was paid. Is that right? That's correct.
Because they're not actually doing security. They're here to secure the building.
No. They're not. Let me correct that.
Okay.
Let me correct that. If I did get with Sheriff Payne and request those deputies to come here, they wouldn't be here. They're here because they're being paid. There's other things that they would be doing. So when I request those deputies for this or for that event, along with other events, those gentlemen are paid. That lady who's one of the ladies, they are paid for that time served. They don't just come here to volunteer. They're not here to secure the building. They're part.
They were paid in the past.
Yeah, they've always been paid in the past. As a matter of fact, it's been 13 to 12 to 13 in the past.
Well, I guess the question gets to be true because a lot of times you have those guys, they're actually off duty.
Yeah, they're off duty. They're not doing no duty. So they're off duty. They're off duty.
So you actually, something I say because I'm a school administrator. And when we use them at school facilities, you're actually paying those guys. They can't double dip and be working with the sheriff's department and at the same time going to salary for doing a game. So usually when you hire those guys, you're hiring people who are off duty. So that's actually a salary for them being here. You know, and we have to do the same thing at games we have to pay. And they actually work as security guards is what they work as. So I gotta see that. I think the thing is not the use of them. I guess the biggest thing is determining the fair amount of hours, because the thing is they were off duty and they had to be paid.
And they came only at our request, and that's every function that we have to have deputies here. They come in only at our request.
That's part of the liability issue.
So you have,
That's a part of it.
so it's mandatory that we have to have X number of deputies.
Of course, the contracts from the last 20 years, as always, but and again, like I stated, I didn't have a full 12 deputies. I only had 8 in an attempt to save them some money. So I only had 8. And then I accepted to provide this other 4 security personnel that would man the doors that people had access to come in from the outside. But so I could have easily said, hey, we just gonna go by the contract, and there are gonna be 13 or 12 deputies based on what the contract calls for at $25 per deputy. So all those deputies were here.
And they're all off duty whenever.
They're all
They came for clubs and the county.
And they're here the whole time. And they're not here manning the building. They're here that if anything goes down, I need people here with arresting authority and uniform with their cruisers out front that put something on any potential troublemaker's mind when they come up. They know that we have people here who have arresting authority. This is nothing that I've invented. This has been going on forever since the Civic Center has been here, and it's so duly spoken out, printed out in the contracts. So I haven't deviated from that other than trying to help save him a couple of dollars by not charging him for a full 12 and just tell him he can bring 4 additional people. But I need all 12 people here, 8 of which have to be deputies. And again, my thing is that if you only had 89 tables that you sold, how would I know that? I can't believe you allowed 43 tables just to be given away, and at 43 tables at $150. If you come in and say, well, Mr. Johnson, whatever you call me, and I understand the nature of comps. I do comps all the time. I've had businesses in that regard, but I've never come that many. Well, had you come to me and spoken to me and said, listen, man, I come 20 tables, because I know you have to do certain things. We all have to do that in this line of work. That's understandable. Perhaps we wouldn't be here right now. But you need to say to me how many tables that you're supposed to have come. I think that came from one of the board members. But all of a sudden I'm hearing you say approximately 43 tables. We put down 132. You're saying you only sold 89. How can that be proven? How can that be proven? Because my interest is what's in the best interest financially and the well-being of this board and this facility. So since I had no privy to your manifest, I have no idea what was sold, because that was a total thing. We sold tickets to the King George show, and every penny was accounted for. And you
except for the $400 and some dollars left on the credit card bill that you would not need to sign for the check for when I picked the tickets up. I'm not disputing any of that. Well, now, I'm kind of.
I think we agree. We keep saying the same thing, and there's a miscommunication or that.
Sure.
That's something that needs to be fixable going forward.
All right, so let's.
Because in the contract, it isn't clear as to how many hours the deputy will work. It would just say, it just says $25 per hour.
And that's probably going to vary from event to event.
Exactly. And that's in every, and that's why I have additional contracts from years past. The wording is the same, so this is nothing all of a sudden that's new.
Let me say this, if I may go moving forward. And you speak of the arresting power and why they're here and why they're okay. So miscommunication or misunderstanding and all that. Okay? If I had known exactly that, the next event, I've hired 12 U.S. Marshals who have arresting authority all over the United States to do security here for less than that, less than $1,400. So I'm saying, if I know these things, exactly how many people coming, what I'm being charged for, that was miscommunication on both our parts. And I'm agreeing with that. I can still save money. So I'm just saying, I don't want to be here doing this, people. I don't want to be here doing this.
So they jumped their rate up from $15 to $25 now. Now we're ready to pay for it.
Over time, sure, that middle ground is going to be like.
Well, we got to get the problem solved. We're working, look at 2 different things. I'll say
Can I
there's
suggest
communication
this?
problem.
Well, we can accept the 89 tables because we really hadn't lost any money on that. We can accept payment for the 89 tables. Okay, but he paid the security guard for how many hours?
7 hours and $1,400 later.
Is that included in your 2135?
Only 4 hours.
All the 4 hours, so you.
All right, so we got a difference, 1534. I mean,
I can't move
we
it.
don't, I personally want the civic center to keep doing these things. I mean, it puts us
I
in the
would
line.
like to too.
Well,
I
no,
would-
no, no.
And I don't know, it's already over $1,534. Somebody gotta make, we gotta come to some type of conclusion. And going forward, everybody needs to be on the same page. I mean, I don't know how to.
So how amicable would you be to split this? Of the 15,
What was your question?
I'm looking at 1534, that's where everybody's at. If we split that difference.
What's that breakdown in?
Well, obviously on both parts, there's a misunderstanding on some things with, you know, what's happening in 1534?
You said 1534.
That's the difference between what he's saying he wants to pay,
767.
767.
and that's what you, and that's the difference between what you say he owes and what he's saying that he's willing to pay.
What would your total be?
The difference between the two totals is 1534.
So
2135 plus 7, what was it?
2902. 1902.
I was going to propose that you pay for the 89 tables and pay the full 7 hours for the sheriff. I think he's willing to do that. If they were there 7 hours, he would pay the full sheriff's bill and for the 89 tables. And I think that would be was 2734.
That would be what?
2734.
It's 29.
2734.
Now he's got the table out.
89 tables times 15, that's 1335. How much was the sheriff's bill? 1,600?
1400.
1,400? That's 2735.
So now we got a difference. So
934.
How do you feel about it?
Well, moving forward, well, if that's what this board so desires, 2735. But moving forward, we're gonna go by the letter of the contract. If we're saying 12 or 13 deputies, that's what we'll have. If we're saying vendor fees, everything will be by the contract moving forward. Okay?
Unless you all decide to work something out with the deputies, unless, you know, you want
If they are duty, and if they're here to do security, and they charging that much, I don't need it. Cause I can secure this show for less money, with people that have arrested. I don't need that.
Well,
okay.
well, hold on. You can't, and I think I'm right about this. I can't bring someone to Dot's home and say, well, we can and can't do at Dot's home. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
If the persons are coming to a county-owned building, there are guidelines. I think I'm correct about this. There are guidelines, and attorney, you may know more about this than I do. I'm not an attorney, I'm a politician. So I may be out of my lane, but I think I'm correct about this. If I'm going to someone else's place, and the county has guidelines about to whom or to come into their facility,
But we need to see what the guidelines are for the county.
we need to find out whether or not the Floyd County Sheriff Department has guidelines whether or not another entity can come in and take care of security other than their own. I may be well-based.
I think that's a reasonable thought. And again, contracts up until the point they're signed are always negotiable. So I mean, I don't think Mr. Lewis has a problem with sticking to the terms of his, whatever he signs moving forward. Then there's just going to be more communication before things get signed.
That's it, because even the price for the fee for the deputies, see, before that contract is signed, that's even negotiable.
Yes.
You know, so.
The fee for the deputy?
Well, what I'm saying is that,
I can't say what they're gonna
no,
charge.
I'm not saying you could negotiate, I'm saying that somebody could negotiate with those deputies who's going to work. See, that's not your place. Now, if they're gonna charge the drug, they want to stick to what it was that they were paid, and we need enough of that.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. But, you know, there is an auto negotiation with those deputies to see if they're willing to, you know. Again, I go through that same thing because I have to use sheriff deputies and city policemen and things like that in the school system. So I have to turn out from time to time with those guys, and it's a negotiation sometimes. I have certain ones that I call because they may work at a different rate than others work.
I agree. Let me say this to your defense. You're not out. Everywhere I go, Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum, Landry Center, every government entity requires that. But I'm only going by what he said, that they will only hear upon my request because they could have had other things that they could have been doing. Now, I can secure this show, okay? But I don't want to just be charged because somebody can say, well, I got to have this person to work and they can come in and charge me what they want to because they think I'm making a lot of money. Because I can almost assure you that these other events that you've had up until this show, I can almost bet you that these people are not getting paid that kind of money. I can almost assure you that. And when I do go to these other buildings and these other facilities that require that stuff, these gentlemen are working. I don't have to have somebody else over here on this door. I don't have to have somebody else backstage to make sure that people not bringing guns and stuff in like I had to do here. When I hired these sheriff deputies at Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum, every last one of them are working. They're not standing much up at the door. Okay, so if I'm going to be forced to hire these people, then they need to be covering these exodus and things that I'm hiring other people to do. That's all I'm saying. I don't have a problem with any of that.
I think we mashed out what we could with regard to this bill, and are we saying that not 2735?
Let me say something. In response to what you said, then I'll speak on the bill as far as I'm concerned. If I hired all 13 or 12 according to the contract, yeah, we could have people placed in those areas. But if I'm trying to, and the difference between it's like a certified teacher compared to a classified. When you got a certified officer out here, these people gone through the training, gone through the academy, unlike just getting a personnel who's a security guard. Those are the people that we had placed at the doors that you supposed to have paid for. But now, that's why I only charge for 8 people. But if I need to go and charge for all 12, I can easily secure those doors. That's not a problem with me. But I was trying to save you $1 because the difference at a $25 an hour certified officer compared to whatever a security guard charges are totally 2 different rates. So if you're saying that, and that's something you and I can talk about outside of this meeting, but if you're wanting me to go ahead and hire all 12 people, that's no problem. Because I'm going to I just going to get 12 deputies at $25 an hour.
I don't want you to hire.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to get a minimum of my 8 deputies. And if you want to hire the other 4 individuals, that's saving you. So you may have some people who will come in and do it for you at no cost. But if I need to hire them, I'm going to place them at those other doors. Now, getting back to what y'all was asking about the fees.
Hold on. Those kind of negotiations y'all can work out for the next bridge.
Sure.
The getting security guards or getting sheriff deputies.
Well, I'm going to have a minimum of 8 deputies. That's what you all as a board to know that.
Yeah,
I need certified people. I need
I
certified people who are going to be
Well, but why is that? I mean, I got U.S. Marshals, and they're certified. So,
but the question now comes, do they have authority to come into this county-owned facility, and that can be worked out with the
U.S.
attorney.
Marshal means the entire United States.
I understand it, but
Anything that covers under the United States jurisdiction.
And as far as the fee is concerned, since we had no knowledge of knowing exactly how many tables were sold, the numbers that they counted, which was 120, that's what I recommend this board, show us what that 120 tables that we actually put out. So if that means that if you gave away those other 24 tables, so be it. But if we know we put 120 out, I know I put 132 out, but you had both the personnel of the state that they put out 120 tables.
That's where I was going on my last statement. I'm going to be done with this discussion. Brother, when you did the 180, when you did the 8 and 9, and we put out 130 total, 132 tables. Common sense tells all of us sometimes common is not very common. But there's no way on the planet that we would know, and I know that you, in good faith, you know this yourself, there's no way that any of us would know whether or not you been a promoter, that you know that you would not have given away that many tables at $150 per table.
Not necessarily true, sir.
Huh?
Not necessarily true.
You would have given away.
Listen, I also get in favor of doing the business here.
Okay.
Because I do this. It's not a weekend hobby. I know exactly what the show's going to cost. I know exactly what the roster costs. I actually get away 120 comp tickets.
All right, 120
So
comp
I'm
tickets.
just saying. So
You get away 120 comp tickets.
I didn't get a warrant.
but no, it's something I'm done.
I think for clarity's sake,
That's 43 tables that you gave away.
Sir, I didn't know how many that
But
you
he didn't
take.
make it.
Put down. So,
Well, he said, well, hold on, like I said, it'll be done.
You done.
No, but I'm going to say that. 43 tables, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the math on this now. 43 times 150. That's $6,450 that you have given away.
you didn't know how to take it for that. You just know how to eat something.
I would like to do.
Now I'm done.
Well, all I can do worked out. I mean, the folks in good faith. He is.
Yeah.
I think this community needs this. This is what we're here for.
I agree.
And,
This is one of many events.
and he's got more events booked. He's, I don't know about the upcoming show, the marquees, and all that needs to be worked out. And we got to get along, and we got to what they got us on this board for. Move forward. We just sitting here kicking a can.
I like to say, we
Going
got,
back to lack of communication.
Exactly.
if we had a contract of 140 tables put out, I think we ought to charge 120 tables. We don't need to be changing our contracts just because we got a different opinion. I think if we put 120 tables out and you verify the 120 tables out, somebody sat down, it's $150 a piece, that's what it was. And I think 120 tables is what we ought to be charging for.
And that goes back to
I think.
that's why I kept asking about the tables.
Can you put that in a motion before we leave? I know you got to go. Whatever your will is, and let it go up and down.
I motion that we charge 120 tables
At what price, sir?
at $150
$15 per table.
$15 per table.
That's your motion?
That's my
Second.
motion.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor? All opposed?
I vote.
Okay.
How can we charge 120 when we didn't know how many he had?
And he didn't make any money off of 120 or 132.
What we vote, Karen?
Where did the money go?
3-4-2 against.
I got to remember.
What was the count?
3-2.
3-4.
3-4, 120 charge, 2 against. Do you get the people in it?
So I think, whatever that's the way we get it typically, you can sit there as you know what your number's gonna be, you ought to be, arrive at a number of tables that you'll need.
That's back to the same amount of money. Same amount of money they wrote.
So right now, the table's at 150. 120 tables for $15 come to $1,800. $1,400 for the security comes to $3,200. We're not even speaking about the vendor along with the food that was.
Let's do the math. This is what we come up with.
Yes, your motion is 120 tables,
120
and $15
and 15.
come to
$1,800 bucks.
And then the $1,400 for the state security at 7 hours, which comes to $1,400.
3,200. Is that right?
Correct.
3,200.
Yes.
How much is 120 times 15?
180.
So they agreed to, they came up 2735. That's a difference, $465.
So, Mr. Cook,
Is this really, I mean, we got a difference, how much?
465.
$465. So,
So I guess, I know where you're going. You want to know, is it worth?
Yeah.
Losing a vendor
no,
or 465? That's what you
not
want
to
to
me.
do.
I mean, the 27 sound good, but we had just come up with a total of 2,735 that he was in agreement to pay.
I think that a motion that was carried. That was the board.
Do what now? The motion was carried.
Yeah, of the amount as far as
The table, one of the tables is what it was.
So that-
The motion was for charge at 120 tables.
Does it say in there you get 120 tables on the contract?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
And that's the thing that I keep going back, and that's why,
So that's why I recommend going
Well,
ahead and that.
when I started asking the question about the table, I'm gonna go ahead and carry on with this time. That's why I asked in the beginning, how did we get the number of 89? That was my first question. And then my follow-up question was, how did we move up, when I saw 120 tables, how did that happen? So I guess what I was looking to hear is that when this thing was being negotiated, does the person who's leasing the Civic Center determine the number of chairs? Is there a set number of chairs? You see, that's kind of what I was getting at. Because now, if there was a situation where he walked in and said, okay, I need 140 chairs, then that's what he's obligated to say. Okay, because he understands at that point that he's gonna be charged for 120 chairs.
120 tables.
Right, a table or whatever. So that was the point that I was reaching at. Now, if it was clearly communicated somewhere that, because Johnson's kind of double chairs I'm gonna need. Because every event won't necessarily require the same amount of tables. You know, so that is something that's agreed upon when you're doing the contract. Even if it's a blank line that says table, you write a number in. Once you reach that number, you give a person chairs that they requested, then they are financially obligated to that number.
But it wasn't in the contract.
Right, it wasn't in the contract, that's not crazy.
We all on the same page, and that's
Right,
the
so
problem.
it's
That's
the obvious communication.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Boils down to, is it worth $400 for him to keep bringing music in here? Or us as a community? Or, you know, it's not worth it. I mean,
And
we lost for nothing.
and then by the same token, they end up bringing some more tables. Then Mr. What's his name? Lewis did not make funds on his way. Is that right? Well, you can answer. He can answer that.
No, I did not.
He did not make funds. He did not make
Right,
money on
he
those
didn't
tables.
make money on it.
You know, what's interesting is that when you say, Mr. Jones, he didn't make any money, how do we know? I'm not saying he did.
Oh,
It's not about integrity.
Well, we don't, and that's what he said.
Yeah,
He didn't
okay.
make it. He said-
And I'm saying we put out 132 tables. I have no reason I bring people in for that. But if they put out 120 tables, so we know all that is cool. That was done. See, and I don't want to lose a vendor anymore. So whether it's a restaurant vendor, whether it be any other potential vendor, but there's no one person who does any one job. There's always other people who do the exact same thing. When I reach out to one vendor, be that for blues, be that for wrestling, battle of the bands, I don't reach out to one vendor, I reach out to many vendors. And I would like to have a good working relationship with everybody. However, sometimes that's where these negotiations come into play. And when there's a discrepancy, you meet somewhere in between. So that somewhere in between, to me, would be that 120 that, of course, two of the workers independently came and stated they did put out. Now, to say that he didn't sell but 8 or 9 tables, I have no way of knowing whether it's Hughes or Danny, so I have no way of knowing. We're not privy to that. But what he was privy to, if he wanted to, just like I had my people go and count tables, he could have had his people go and count tables as well. See, but again, in trusting us doing what we said we were going to do, and I'm not saying he didn't only, I'm not saying he only sold 8 or 9 tables. I don't know, but I can't imagine 44 tables just being set. So, but to answer our question, Mr. Cook, that you were asking about, like I stated earlier, is that when a person comes in that rents the facility, how do they want their room set up or the arena set up? Well, they let us know how they want it set up. We don't just decide to put tables and chairs in places. They let us know if they want 6 tables per chair or they want 8 tables per chair, because we would have no idea. And we only put out what people ask us to put out, because we're not trying to overwork anybody. But again, this goes beyond just tables and chairs put out, because you got utility bills, you got your man hours, somebody got to clean this place, and when you got to thoroughly clean it, you don't just go in and sweep mop one time. You got to go in and thoroughly clean restrooms as well to maintain the facility at the level at which this facility is being maintained. Really? So it's not all as if all this is just profit. It's not profit, because there's so much overhead that goes into this.
And there's overhead on both sides.
Exactly.
Well, let me say this. I've been here trying my best to resolve this. And I'm willing to pay what we came up with the $27. But then what I don't like is to play on words and trying to change the narratives of what you think that I may not have done or didn't know as far as giving it away. You wouldn't have no way of knowing that. And let me state the record. Ms. Maxine Hughes did a wonderful job for me selling these tables, okay? Everything that she sold was accounted for. I want that to be known. But just like you can't say what I gave away, I don't know if those almost 20 complimentary tickets that I gave you, if some of those people will sit at some of these tables. So now let's be fair. Let's get this done. Don't try to play on words and change the narrative of why I'm here. I'm not here to ask
to whom?
To Mr. Johnson. I'm not here trying to get nothing free. Okay? Never. I don't want to do that. I want to do good business. And I'm not trying to expose him. I've done that in good faith. But I'm saying, don't say you can't believe, keep bringing that up, that I gave away these many tables when hell, you had enough free people sitting at tables that could have sat at these tables. I don't know. The only thing I did was people say, hey, I don't have anywhere to sit, let me fix the problem. As same as I went to Miss Jones and her people and made it right. That's all I'm saying. Don't come and throw up there and keep trying to change the narrative of why I'm here. I'm not trying to get anything free. I just want to be treated fair.
And I think now we're going back down the hole. We've already filled.
We are.
We filled.
And I don't want to be drugged out there.
Let's just get out straight.
So at this point here, I think we got to agreement now that you've agreed on what you're going to pay, and you're good with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And what is that amount?
So now what was the amount? Somebody wrote it down.
20. They agreed to 20.
Attorney Coleman has that figure.
2734.
27.35.
All right. So we still need to keep going back and forth. Now, what I'm gonna say that we need to do is if we plan our next venue, we just need to be clear on what we're playing, and then let us say what's on the back.
Yeah.
And the next show is next week, so I want to know exactly.
But let me, before you address that, let me state this. There's no exposing me. I keep my board pretty well abreast of what I do, and if there were tickets given to me, some of the board members received tickets as well as other people.
Well, I don't know. The only reason I made reference to that because you are constantly saying that you can't believe that I would give away as much as I gave away, and I'm telling you and him and anybody that's wondering, yes. Okay, we had a show in Atlanta Center. We gave away over 400 tickets. That's a part of doing business.
How much time do you say?
The top of the week.
So in that,
A week.
I didn't hear your
We do what? The paper balance from the January 25th to here that's going on March. We need another 2 weeks to pay.
No, I need 2 weeks. Top of this week, top of next week. Because extra money has been spent because I am here. And because I've had to change some things, because the public is calling me saying.
Well, first,
they can't take the
well,
citizens.
listen, I'm going to step out on a limb here as a board member. We made a vote and said 32. You all agreed to 27, 34.
35.
35? Yeah, I thought 34. Two things. One is we need to know the exact, because we voted on, it's in the minutes, am I right, Ms. C? We voted on a number. You all agreed to a number. And so whatever we do now, whether the vote stands or whether the agreement that you all made stands, we need to get a number. A. B is, whatever those numbers are, we need to set a date today on when that check is to be cut and made and brought out here. It doesn't need to be a week from today, I don't think. It needs to be ASAP. Because if we're going to do this, it needs to be done expeditiously.
He can make the payment Monday.
Today is Tuesday. And you have now will your show go forward for March 1st?
Yes, my show will go forward. And I'm saying Monday because of the lack of communication and people not being able to purchase tickets here at the Civic Center, that has hurt my flow of income coming in with the next show. So I had to adjust some things.
Why aren't the tickets being sold here?
Say what?
Why aren't the tickets being sold here?
The tickets are here.
That was the question I was going to ask.
And the tickets that we have are $30. To my understanding, you're selling $40 tickets. You want us to sell the $30 tickets?
I want you to sell the $30 tickets. The reason we're selling the $40 tickets at the other vendors because they are out of the $30 tickets. They are sold out of the $30 tickets. The initial plan was to have a $30 pre-sale at all vendors. And you probably would have been sold out here too if people had been able to purchase.
Well, Monday's the 24th.
Well, what I'm going to put before this board, up until we get the check in hand, I don't suggest that we sell any tickets at this point. Now, the board can vote differently, but I don't feel that this Civic Center sell any tickets to the general public for the show until we are satisfied financially with the debt that's owed.
And you don't have to. I can pick the tickets up and sell the tickets. Are going to sell.
That's fine.
That's a people product. Okay? It's just to me that it's convenient if you're doing business with the Civic Center. It's only natural that people be able to purchase tickets at the Civic Center.
I totally concur. But right now, we're still in good debt.
Well, with a March 1st show date,
We're talking about what, 2 weeks maybe? That's pushing.
that goes back again, brothers and sisters. It goes back again to lack of communication. Because if you have a March 1st show date, and we are the place of venue where this event is to take place, we should be the place where the tickets are being sold. That should have been the number one place.
Absolutely.
Where the tickets are being sold.
Absolutely.
What has gone on with us not getting compensated for the last show, had not come to an agreement on the price for the last show, has stalled the tickets being sold here.
Well, not just that. If I've been able to meet with you guys 2 weeks ago.
Well,
okay,
we could have a call.
Yeah.
We could have had this done.
We had a problem.
We could have had this done. So, again, lack of communication on both sides. And I'm willing here to negotiate to work this out. I agree to do that. But this has inconvenienced me too.
But anyway.
All right, so what's the figure?
That's one big my question. What are the figures?
The figure.
Yeah, what's the total we cutting a check for? We voted on one number, one number, and they have agreed to pay another number. So what do we do? It doesn't take rocket science to do this.
He can have your check for $27.35 on Monday.
Forward.
Well, I guess we'll get somebody to put it in motion.
We had one already there.
I think I'm
Because in order to do that, the first motion has to be rescinded.
And I won't wait that motion.
Mr. Hayes made that motion.
Mr. Hayes will have to be 1%.
I think Mr. Hayes about correct made a motion about the amount of tables. He was making a motion about it.
No, he made a motion to get $3,200.
For 120 tables and $1,400 for the security.
Now, was this for this past event?
Yes.
Because I think I stepped out and came back in. So
Doing that?
I think I stepped out.
And now he's gone, so we're stuck again. I mean, we've been here an hour and a half discussing this.
What?
And we
We've been here an hour and a half. We hadn't gotten any further than we walked in the door.
Well,
We've been out with that. We did.
I think we covered a lot of ground, particularly in the open up of communication for the next event.
Well, I agree with that, but we gotta get this figured so that y'all can work together and we can continue to have concerts.
now the problem is, I always see if I can get it on the phone, because the thing about it, if he made that motion, if you're gonna really want to,
Yes,
you got to say.
That's Robert's rules of order.
That's right. So let me see if I can get him on the phone, because if that's gonna happen, he has to be one to make that motion. He was saying.
So while you're trying to contact Mr. Hayes, I guess I'll move on to the show that's coming up on March 1st. Is this, I see that the contract is in your name, Danny, so this is your show?
It is, along with Mr. Lance and Boogie down in the tank. And I would like to add his name to the contract.
Okay. And I'll find out about that as well. So, you're going to give us a scheme of how many tables. So how would we know in this case how many tables were sold?
You will know that. You'll know that. You'll know that.
I need something more than just word of mouth. It's not about
Well, no, you don't know that. I'm gonna give you the same thing you give me. You're gonna have actual numbers of everything that goes on this time.
117.
So,
He said he got, Marcus paid 117 so far.
so how can that be verified? It's not about integrity. It's not about trusting.
It can be verified by our account. That's the only way that you can be.
That's great. Okay.
Now, at what rate? Because I think when you and I initially talked, we said 25, because you're selling tables at 150.
We're selling tables at 150, and that rate shouldn't be based on what you charge. That's based on what it costs me to produce this show. I'm not coming here to
We're
do a
selling
show
tables
that's on
we're
Civic.
selling tables to you at $15 tables. This is another issue.
Right.
At $15. Okay, now, any vendors who come in, see the Civic Center, those vendors, the $250 vendor fee, that people come in selling lights, glowing hats, or anything.
That's your rule. That's in the
That's not my
contract.
rule, that's what's in the contract.
That's still, that
Nothing
is
is my rule.
That is what the contract is based on, what you guys
So
said.
It's not my rule.
So did you have a vendor? Did you bring a
I
vendor
did.
with you?
I did. And that's typical for promoters to put on show and have vendors.
Yeah, because promoters through their vendors, again, these are ways that since we're not charging a facility fee anymore, there's ways, because again, this is nothing new what I'm bringing up. Because even in the past contracts, and I have something to verify, the Civic Center had facility fee, they had the right, they had the fee for the first of the building, so that was nothing, so we didn't add anything different, we took out vendors. What?
That was the thing, so he's not, so that's voted on. So let's see, as long as he rescinded, he would have to make that motion.
So, but back to what I was saying, whatever we have now is nothing different than what has always been.
Okay.
The Civic Center, you got the vendors, the Civic Center had the facility fee, it sold its own concession. I'm doing no different. Only other thing is that we're not doing the facility fee.
Exactly.
That's all different.
But now this is the question I'm trying to ask you. Since he is the promoter and he has the building, does he have the right to bring one vendor with him?
No.
No,
Not
so
according to
he
this
still has to
contract.
pay,
Not according
he
to this
still has to
contract.
pay $250, okay,
Right.
okay.
But let me ask you guys this as a board. And ask the people that walked out. Now I'm gonna give you the professional idea of what a facility fee is. If people are buying tickets on Eventbrite, they run their card, Eventbrite or Ticketmaster or whatever ticket outlet charges a fee on top of that, okay? You say you're waiving the facility fee, but if you're charging people extra $3 when they come in and buy those tickets, you are getting a facility fee. Now, I'm not disputing any of that, but what I'm saying is, do you guys honestly think that it's fair for me to bring an $80,000 show here, or $50,000 or $60,000 show, and the only way that I can be assured to have a chance of making any money is that I work my ass off and get these people in here for everybody else to make money. If that's what y'all do, that's cool, but that's not a good business practice. And I can be forced to pay this, which I don't want to. I want to pay what I feel that I rightfully owe, which is the number we gave. And I can take my business elsewhere. It may not mean anything to you. Now, I heard you say you call other people, one person do this, one person do that. That's true, but everybody don't do it the same, baby. Okay? And I can assure you that in this region, you ain't gonna find nobody else to come here and bring the caliber of talent that I can bring here with the type of production that I bring. And it hadn't been done before, and I can guarantee you will find a hard time doing it again.
Well, let me ask
All
you
I want to do, sir, is be treated fair.
Let me ask you this question. The folk, let's say we go to the Gulf Coast, and the other places sell tickets for you. Do those folks that sell tickets for you, do they charge the folk a handling fee to sell tickets?
Yes, they do. Most everybody does that.
Okay.
Here's another thing.
So when they do that, let's say the Gulf Coast Coliseum, when they sell tickets for you, do they charge? How do they charge for the tickets? Say if I walk up to the Coliseum and buy a ticket for $30, is there an additional fee for the ticket, or is it just $30?
There's an additional fee with cards because they don't take cash. Well, here's what those people do.
Okay.
If they charging you a facility fee or handler's fee, the things that I need, if I set a show up in any one of these venues, cabaret style, they're not going to charge me for tables and chairs. They're going to put them out. They're going to have the people to facilitate the facility. They're not going to charge me and say, I got this many security, you got to pay them, and then you got to go rent extra security to do that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let me ask you this about the ticket. I thought that we charge the service fee if they use the credit card. That's what that's for. We don't charge, because we drop the facility fee, right?
The facility fee is for people to walk actually in the event. For every person who walked into the event, based on the number of tickets they sold or whatever you all charge them. So we don't charge for people walking in the event. That's the facility fee. The handling fee is when we have to handle the tickets for them. Somebody has to be responsible for those tickets.
Okay.
No different than over at Harris Shoe Shop, Wilson Electronics. Somebody's is responsible for those tickets, because if those tickets come up missing, or this person has to stop their daily work to host a number of people who are wanting to purchase tickets.
So even if you pay cash, it's still a service.
That's a service charge of $30. That's a service charge of $2. Now some people may charge $3, $4, other part, but it's a service charge of $2, which has always, and I repeat, always been the case. This is nothing new. I'm not adding anything that
But here is the difference. They are not a venue that's holding an event. If you go to any other venue that has an event where people selling tickets, they got workers there to do that. That's the only thing I'm saying. They're not charging me for somebody because they say, oh, I got to stop working to sell this ticket. I'm trying to resolve this. I don't want to keep it going back and forth, but you keep pushing me. And that just ain't going to work for me.
It's not going to work for me either.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to push you. I'm asking questions back. I've been coming here 20 years at 2 sold-out events, and I've never had to pay this much.
Well, I'm not knowledgeable of how I've been on the board a long time, prior to now as well. But I'm not knowledgeable of the fee that I know Tracy Hansberg at Harris Shoe Shop, when the person, because I've been there, when that person buys a ticket, if the ticket is $30, he gets his $2 in addition to the $30.
He should.
Okay. So I guess my dumb question is, what's the problem? Why do we have a problem?
Because again, that's not charging, because he's getting his full $30.
Right,
He's getting his full $30. Again, the patron or the concert goer is the one who's paying the $2 additional.
Okay, so therefore, if you drop off 100, if he drops off 100 tickets at Hand Grocery Shop, and Tracy sells all 100 tickets, he's going to get his $2 per the 100 tickets.
Likewise here.
Yeah.
Just like that here.
But that's always been
Tracy got the facility where we have an event. If you say to me, I'm dropping the facility fee, to me, that means that you're not charging people this extra money to do this. Or if you're going to take $2 off of my tickets, I'll add it into the price of the ticket and don't charge me for everything else. Because you are not set up like the Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum. You're not set up like the Landers Center. You don't have the facilities to staff all this extra stuff that I'm being charged for extra services. What extra services?
And
that's all I'm disputing.
And that was one of the main reasons I always referenced in our past meetings about not being like Batesville, not being like Landers Center or the Gulf Coast or even in Jackson, because of the drawing capacity that they have from around a 100-mile radius here, we mostly pull from the Delta. So yeah, our setup is very different than anybody else's setup. They only deal with cash. I mean, they only deal with cars. Here we deal with a combination, even in our concession stand area. So it's quite different here. But whatever I am doing here is not different than what had been done set many, many years ago. We're just consistently doing the same thing. But the only other thing is that we waiver the facility fee, which can sometimes be up to $3,000 based on the number of people who walk their park. So, if we walk through that counter, and since we're not dealing with the facility fee as people walk through that counter, how do we make up that other facility fee? How do we make up that money? We make it up through your concession sale, through vendors, which we was always getting, vendor fee. We were always getting a concession sale. And you also now make it up from your table sales, which the Civic Center in the past got a percentage of the table sales. So we're not doing anything any different. See?
It's very different. It's very, very different.
If that was the case, I would have had we would have had 12 deputies here that we would have had to pay for. But at any rate, so whatever.
Okay. Well, back to this 207.35. Since Mr. Hayes is not going to the motion, we as a board, of course, you the chair, you can make an executive order and veto it. Because we got to move on. It's off 2 o'clock. We've been here. We're going to do one thing in 2 hours.
And that's what the majority of the board wants to have a problem with that. So that's, if we want to decide on that, we have a problem with it. I guess what we'll do then, what we'll do is I'll put you another vote and we will leave that.
Move on to this thing.
So at this time, I guess we'll change our new motion.
I need motion to do what?
We'll take it 27.
So go to figure 2735 on the stuff, that Danny Bruce paid.
But you have to first deal with Mr. Hayes' motion. If you're going to put a executive order, you're going to have to go back and read.
Okay, that means you're gonna have to table this until the next meeting, until we can talk, special meeting. We got to deal
I have a special call given.
with Mr. Hayes said.
So now that's what it's all.
What?
Now we're all just sitting where we were. I mean, can you make a vote and get up late before the meeting's over? And, you know. This makes sense. This is just.
No, it's just the cost of doing business. People meetings like this all the time. So,
I know our attorney, a board. But he, in a case like this, what happened? What do you do?
I don't think I'm in a position to give you all the legal counsel advice. That's the decision y'all have to make.
Okay, that's right, you can't advise the board.
I'll have that conversation. I don't step up to me speaking.
That's that.
I don't see how you can charge anybody for 120 tables, 350 tables, 4 tables, 5 tables. It's not in the contract. Especially when we're letting this guy bring more business to our community. I mean, but on the other hand, you always saying that you want, one of the questions you all asked me when you interviewed me, and you talked about that sense that this facility is supposed to make money. Yeah. Okay.
But really,
Yeah.
it's a civic center,
For sure.
so it's really public, it's a civic center, so it's really public behind it. So it really doesn't have a profit making clause to it. It's publicly financed.
Yeah, but
That's what a civic center is.
you make money, what money we make, we can spend it on the civic center.
Right.
Yes, it's supposed to make money. For sure. Our town came here and told us that.
Yeah, that's what we said, but you don't, you never cut your nose off spite your face either.
No. I mean, there's 1,000 ways to look at this. I'm just.
What? That thing still running?
It is.
This
Who
thing.
are you filming with?
Pardon?
Who are you with?
What difference does that make? It's a public meeting. I'm a citizen here for a public meeting. What difference does that make? Who am I with?
I just asked you.
I just asked you
Why
too.
is that a
Well,
opinion?
it didn't, but why didn't it make? Somebody
I
else.
didn't know if you was taking Toy's job. I can introduce yourself. What are they doing? I used to advertise.
I'm not interested in telling who I am. Anything else? Any other questions?
I'm interested in wanting to know why you're here then.
Well, public meeting. Public meeting.
Yeah, I'm still.
Anybody from the public can be here. Okay.
I hear real well.
That's why I'm here.
So that's for the tax channel?
No.
No, he's just doing this on his own.
Oh,
Yes.
you just doing it on your
He
own?
can't tell you what he's in here for.
Don't have to.
I don't have to. That's fine.
Good.
You don't have to. spot
Well,
something
don't
like
ask.
that.
But don't ask.
Yeah.
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 No.
That's right.
You don't want nobody to know, ask you why you're here?
That doesn't
No,
matter.
it's not our business when it's it.
Not the tone that you use, no. Not the tone that you use,
No,
no.
you're telling him.
Not with the tone that you use, no.
Man, I don't have time for your.
There you go.
Your stuff.
There you go. Who are you? Who
No,
are
I
you?
didn't ask you that. You put words.
Why are you here?
I said, who are you with? Like, are you with a taxpayer?
Same thing. It's the same thing.
It is?
Yes, it is. Your tone is the
Tell
same
me
thing.
that. You didn't have to twist that around.
I didn't twist it. I repeated you.
Gentlemen, we have some sodas back there if anybody wants to drink soda as well as water. Anybody wants something to drink and cool off a little bit, let the temperatures come down a little bit. Hopefully we'll get all this resolved. But in the meantime, Danny, so with that $15 per table. I'll check with the sheriff's department as well as our council as far as about marshals or anybody else coming in from the outside being able to secure our county-owned building.
I don't think that would be a problem if you told me that I had to hire extra security for the other show. I would see why it would be a problem. I'm just trying to hire people that would do the job and do the job sufficient.
That little,
So I wish he would, I'm gonna ask Mr. Hall respectfully when he comes back to turn his phone off for a minute. Because there's a lot of planning.
Who got it? Is he just being here? He got to have. I asked him who he was with, and he was going to. I know what he did, but you did too. I ain't playing this.
So we're in motion.
I ain't playing.
That's going to be a motion, but let me tell you, I telephone attorney.
We got, go ahead, okay.
And so the attorney said that we can do this situation, the board decides that they want to accept the
2735.
that figure. Then the board can go ahead and they can authorize Mr. Johnson, although with the language, send a letter, gentlemen. Basically, a letter saying that, the board voted to accept the 3,200, but, you can authorize the other board to accept the 27. Which is
2735.
It's 2735,
it is going to be the tax increase.
and that will be sent in when? The date on that?
As long as they get it out.
I'm talking about when will that check be sent in?
Monday.
No, you can do it Monday, because she can get that letter.
Because we'll email the letter, once the letter is done, we'll email it to you. But I'm saying, so when will we receive the 2735 paid out to
They say Monday is when.
Monday.
So that's how you can do that, so you just wrap it up. So what I guess I need that to effect a motion.
Say it again.
I guess I need that in a motion.
Yeah. I move that, we will accept, the Floyd County Civic and Action Board will accept the 2735 from Mr. Dan Lewis, although the board voted to receive the 3,200, we authorize Mr. Johnson to accept the 2735 as the payment, and the letter will be drafted to Mr. Lewis in that amount. And we will receive our check for the 2735 on Monday. Monday is the what day? 28th, 24th.
Monday is,
24th. February 24th. And at that time, we will, once we receive the check, we will start selling tickets for the March 1st event. That's my motion.
okay, the motion.
So, what's that?
Have a second.
A second.
The motion, following the second, basically I try to surmise what he said is that what we would do, we will authorize Mr. Johnson to go ahead and accept the 27, 100 as opposed to what was previously voted on. You would notify that, person in a letter. And that, also we will specify that the payment for the account is expected on Monday the 24th. And that, also, once that payment is made, the city center within the zone will start selling tickets for the next concert. That's the motion. So we have that, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
And so for the next show, they're gonna work out the security.
Now, I just wanted to ask one question. There was a letter sent to Mr. Lewis from the county attorney that alluded to the possibility of shows that were already scheduled being canceled and contracts terminated. Is that now off the table, or once he makes the payment, is it off the table?
Once the payment is made.
Well, I already paid the department bill.
If I may, you asked a question, I'm going to respond to your question, if I may, board members.
Yeah, but you can't take my money and go from money.
Once you receive that payment, I'll give the attorney and let them know they have been satisfied.
Yeah, but you can't take my money and hold my money and then say what that can do. I have a contract on the building. Stop pushing, man. Just stop pushing. Let's work this out.
So we worked out.
Stop pushing. Stop pushing.
The next show,
It's already worked out because what we got once the department and sheriff, all of another board and so once you do that, you do it. So
Worked out.
it's gonna be fine.
Does that answer your question, Lord?
I'll leave them here. If you okay, if y'all okay with doing that?
It's not personal. Always business.
Now, let me ask you this. The credit card payment, the money that I've never paid, that's coming off. Is that included in that bill? bill or whatever, the $27.75.
Credit card payment, what are you referring
What we coming at?
She can answer that
What you coming on?
for the last show.
Now,
Wait a minute, I need them.
He left, he got that other money, he didn't get the credit card money.
okay, yeah, we'll get that to you.
What talking about? What's he talking about?
From the last show. The people that paid with credit card,
Okay.
we have to write them a check.
Well, how much?
It was for something, I can go back and look.
I have no idea.
So we owe him $400+?
So we'll exchange checks, and that was based on, I'm just here, this as well, that when people buy checks on credit cards, we don't have to pay him a check for that, because that money goes to our account, it satisfies our account. So there's an outstanding, when you look into those, for that amount. Once you give me that amount, I'll have it, check it written out, and then I'll get what I'm here tonight, that'll be ready.
Yeah, she'll cut him a check and he cuts us a check.
Yeah, his check will be cut. I get like all, we've done it a number of times like that a month. We do checks like that, so that's nothing unusual.
We good with that? Good.
Now, let me say this in closing. I appreciate you guys' time, appreciate you listening. I want to come here, I want to do good business. But anything that goes negative on any of these shows, or anything that goes good or bad, it doesn't come back to the citizen. It all goes back to the public, on me. So I want to be able to do this and work and get as much help and much support as I possibly can, with not feeling like that people are working against me. I'm not saying that you are. I'm not saying that, but I think you and I need to sit down and have a better communication and a line of what actually is going on, who's who, and what's what. I would appreciate that.
And also, brother, what I think needs to happen is on your gifts that you're doing, be it tables or tickets. You handle your business the way you wish. You know what kind of profit you need to make a profit. You've been doing this a long time. I've heard you say you've been coming here for 20 years, so you know your business. And I'm not going to use that conjunction, but I'm going to use a preposition. However, you are making money. When we all make some, everyone wishes to share it. You shouldn't give it away like that.
Well, here, I have a different approach as it relates to entertainment. You're in a different business.
Yeah.
And as you well know, businesses work different, okay? Here's what I want to do to this community. To give them something, because one of the reasons that I came here is because people were calling me to know me, asking me to come here. I could have gone other places. Could have gone somewhere else to make more money, because I can charge more for the tickets than I can here.
Right.
Okay?
Because we're okay.
What I want to do is be good to people and be gracious to people and be helpful to people. And if people come and say, hey, I'll help you promote this. I'll help you do this. Okay, well, here you go. That's what I was doing, sir.
But I think you said
that's what you have.
ordered 3 tables and 100.
Yeah, but I didn't know exactly what was being put out at that point in time. Okay, so I do sort of agree with you that. But what I'm saying, I don't care if it's 1 table or 4 or 4 tickets. Okay, if somebody's willing to help me, I'm willing to be nice to them. That's the way I am.
Me too.
Okay,
But
so
order 3 tables and $150 a table, that's a lot of money.
yeah, but if I had known actually that we were putting out those, okay, because 120 tickets and $50 a ticket is a lot of money.
Right.
Okay? But if I can come here and pay for the show and make a profit, I don't mind being nice to people that are helpful to me.
Well, I understand that.
That's the way I do that. Now somebody else can handle their business the way that they want to, but that's the way I can do that. But I don't care if it's 1 table, 10, 4, or half a table. I don't want to be charged for something that I'm not making money off of. If I give it to you, then give it back to me.
And on that same note,
We're gonna wrap it up.
well, yeah, let's wrap up. But on that same note, there's only one way to know how many tables there were, unless you bring it to my attention, unless I see a manifestation or manifest on that. because I just don't take people's word. It's just, it has nothing to do with trust, but you can verify. So I'm not saying that you didn't, I know how to put that, but I can't say how many you all did. So in this case right here, moving forward, on March 1st, I need to see something that I can say, okay, this is how many, because I look to be paid for taking. You may want to give them away, but I look to be paid because that's how we put additional money back into our coffers.
Well, you're saying that now, it sounds good here in front of them.
Oh, I told you
When you were coming to me asking me for things, we didn't have
things like what tickets.
Come on, man, stop pushing. And let's put it down. Stop trying to prove a point.
I'll have to prove a point. I speak off the record, on the record, the same way I am.
What we're going to do. Because from now on, I know how to do business.
That's fine. But I'm just letting you know, I need to know how many tables sold. That way I can charge accordingly.
You would know all of that.
Well, that's all I need to know.
All right.
All right, so.
Appreciate you
But
all.
in the future, I hope that all of this is worked out, that we're not encountering a problem, and we're looking forward to having some more shows come. So I'm asking that you all try to work together to resolve this, so this won't
Okay,
happen
we do
again.
business. Okay, we do business.
All right.
Sit down at the table like as gentlemen and work it out.
Thank you all.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Making sausage is a little bit process, but it sure takes two.
All right, so we'll move on now. I guess we're not on the five.
We put 10 Cokes in that box over there at $10 a Coke.
I'll pay $2.
You pour a few on the flame.
Y'all take care.
All right, take care.
I'll talk to you next week, guys.
All right. So we're gonna move on with the five.
Are we gonna do this whole, we plan on doing this whole thing?
We gonna do this one. I hope.
The most part on here would be the financials. The rest of it is just more or less information purposes.
So you can take that financial.
We don't need both of that though.
Right. That's right there. You all have copies of it and you can email them. Right. But I just want to touch base with the whole business. This, shall I go ahead? Sure. On the whole business, the distributor's name is on the cards. Delta Livestock Show, and that was something that was held out. I think I got something in the packet. That was held out at the Agri Center, and the Delta Livestock Show, from what I gather, is a combination of different counties who put on livestock. That's not the 4-H.
Okay, it's not.
4-H comes a week before that. That's one of the shows that we were supposed to give at no charge. So we do the no charge for the 4-H, which is through Norfolk County. But the Delta Livestock is in conjunction with a number of counties who host their livestock shows here. And they are there from approximately that Sunday to Wednesday, and they only charge $800. This has been a past contract that has gone for years. And at $800, I think we're doing ourselves a total disservice for that facility, because when I call around other facilities in the location that border us, that Montgomery or Washington County, there's like $500 a day for 5 hours. And in Montgomery County, they even put a stipulation in there for a cleanup. So it's $750, and you get to $250 back once you got it cleaned back up. Which brings me to how filthy this place was left. And I had pictures I were not able to run off. But to me, $800 for 5 days with the type of funds that are coming in that facility, it's a disservice to the Agri Center, to the county. I suggest that if you're going to stay at the rate at $500 a day, I'm willing to see what I can do to work with them. Not to, if you're going to be there for that enough time. But $800, being that we have to clean it up, we got utilities, and other things that are taking place that we're responsible for. $800 for the whole time is not justice. If we're saying that we're supposed to be an entity that can make some funds.
Okay, well, I think that did you send them a response in reference to what you found?
I already talked to them about that.
Okay.
I talked to them about how filthy the place was left, as well as all those cages that the animals were placed in. They brought them out there, but they expect us to break them down and take them back. that takes a lot of man hours, and that is physically draining on the work along with the inmates that we have. And for $800, it's just not worth it. I would just take it to another county because it is too much work for the little pay that we received out of it. See?
How much you suggest that we charge?
If they're going to be there for 5 days, it's supposed to be at $2,500. I can see 2,000. Give them a $500 break, and that's it. And we got to go in and fix it and clean it up afterwards because we had to go back and do a thorough job, not only in the kitchen but out in the general area where the livestock were, the whole facility itself, and it just really needed to be really clean.
Maybe you can negotiate with them and let them know about, them cleaning up afterwards.
I did. The gentleman name on that contract, Donald Fuller. He's one of the guys who works with that group.
And one thing I think that you have to do, you get, okay, we're gonna charge you $2,000, if that's what you decide upon. If we have to clean it, it's gonna be this.
Right, so the 2,000 will be for the general use, but I'll ask for another $750 or something, that if you all don't want to clean it, leave it as is, we'll take it from there. So in other words, there'll be a cleanup deposit in that. And if they clean it up themselves, they receive that back. Unlike here at the Civic Center, when people rent it, that cleanup fee is already into the price. Out there, that was not the total mess.
Okay.
Also, it was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Emmanuel Baptist Church. I have their sheet in there. They did the concessions out there for those 5 days. At $500 for those 5 days. We couldn't do that here. As far as for that little bit. Normally,
Okay, so do you have the manpower to go over there?
no, I mean, I want them to continue to do it,
Okay.
but we'll just increase the price.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We just have to increase the price. And I'll get with Tony.
So have you thought about what are you increasing the price to?
No, I'll get with Tony on it and we'll see what.
Just let them know in time enough.
Oh yeah, they do this once a year, so I get with Tony on it and see what's feasible for both of them.
Okay.
Okay. Whitetails Unlimited was a group that had not paid the balance. We did receive that check and it has been deposited. Under item D, that gentleman had been contacted by the attorney. Says he's going to come by and take care of it. I think he's just holding out for a minute, but he does have another function here lined up. But he understands that it will go forward. I've received, I got a matter of letter and packet from the Lieutenant General's office in regard to my being able to take the county truck to my meeting in Clarksdale. And this is just a letter for them stating that they're in receipt of it and that they're going to do an investigation as to can that take place. So I'm waiting on them to do that. Okay, any questions before I move on to the next item? Okay, under new business, you see A.
Executive session there.
But I'm not going to go in deep on no names or anything because you already have the information on that. Information, I think I put it in your folder as some of the things that were said as text that were very disrespectful, and that person no longer.
Have you got any previous write-ups?
Not to my knowledge.
Have you called me?
Yeah, several times.
Several times.
Yes.
But you didn't write a book.
No. And it's a part-time worker, so but he was given every notification, and it just got to a point and it got very disrespectful and insubordinate.
Y'all couldn't resolve?
No. It's been resolved. We've already. Pardon?
I said it cost them a job.
Under B, I've already contacted the personnel department, and Diane and I met with the gentleman who listed under B to fill that position, and I'm hoping that if this board, I have a letter in your folder.
Oh, okay.
And if you all could authorize me to go before the board at their next meeting to bring this one on, and he would start immediately once this drug test is proven.
That's how they're implement drug tests.
All right.
I mean, in the past, and you just hire people and then, when they have to take their drug test, that's when the problem comes in. But he's gonna take you before we start.
No.
Okay.
Because if it doesn't, I mean, he'll take it before he starts working.
Okay.
If this board approves it, for me to go to that board, and the board of supervisors approve it. Yeah, that's the start. So I just need you to take action on my taking this letter before the board.
Okay.
You ready to vote on it?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
I've been moved to proper second, all in favor? All opposed, I say the motion carries.
Okay, I'll bypass my next, go down to monthly update, and I won't even talk about A, that horse been beaten enough. On the 13th, last Thursday, we had, North Greenwood Baptist Church had a gospel concert here that was pretty well attended. Went over really well. That was a big production, pretty much like the one Friday that we had back in January. So that was the first time that I understand that they had come here. Under C, credit card machine. In the concessions, what I've noticed since the time I've been here, every time we have functions, we have more people who are coming up asking me to take plastic. And I even know, even with us there, when we go places and we pay for something by credit card, we generally spend more. And that's one of the things I've been looking into, trying to get a handle in both of the concessions.
You know what? A lot of events that I've gone to, and especially outside of the state of Mississippi, they don't even take cash.
I got more so.
I mean, you gotta have a credit card. You got to like them. And really, it's better and faster because you won't be trying to make changes and all this. But that's just the way it is. We went to LSU to the game, credit card, no cash. I've been at comedy shows in other places, credit card, no cash.
I think one of the things that we're running across is like we had the Circus of Life here, and then even with the function we just had, we have a lot of kids. And when the kids are coming up, they have $1, $2 figure, whatever mom and dad they give it. And I think, again, our situation here in the Delta is quite uniquely different than a lot of the bigger places. But here, in the clientele that we deal with, a lot of them have cash. And then they have a debit card or a cash app. We're not going to debit. We're not going to do cash app. I understand they can go back and.
But if it's on the card, you can do cash app. Or they can go back and change.
They can go back and, what do you call it? Dispute. That's what we're trying to go on cash app. So we're just doing debit, which comes directly out on our credit card. But we do still use cash because a lot of the events that we have, like the basketball games that we had, most of the kids were here. Also, under D, at that concert, we had people asking about the ATM machine.
That would be nice.
I'm looking at that as well. I've already contacted some people about it. We got a perfect place in mind where I would like to see it located. So
are you going to use like Regions or some local bank or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
You know, but I won't use it because it's what they charge.
Oh, yeah. Some of them are ridiculous.
And I did speak, and this is going to be called D as well as F. I did speak with 2 gun show promoters. I spoke with the gentleman that does the one that did the one in Greenville last weekend, along with another gentleman who's out of Jackson. And they were both interested in coming, but they didn't have time to do anything this year because they're already pretty much set up. So we're working on trying to get at least, I want to do probably at least 2 a year. And he pretty much told me how it works and how many months out ahead of time that they have to start trying to promote it. So I did speak with those 2 gentlemen about trying to get those type of events here. And like I say, one of the things I do often is contact all sorts of promoters, whether they be blues promoters. We got a person that we're talking about trying to do battle bands here, the girls that do the little dancing routines. So that's what I spend a lot of time doing, going visiting as well as calling people, different promoters to bring different type of events, because I don't want us dependent on any one particular type of event. And if that doesn't go, where we're stuck. You notice that those things have not been happening. And so that was some of the things that we're trying to do now, get as many different events that are coming, that are out there coming here. I often go to Language Center and try to meet with some of the artists or different people who host the functions there to try to see can we get some of those people here. But that's why I spend a lot of time making contacts and trying to sell the facility. So that's all I had. And you do have some concession reports that I did send you all.
We had a lot of King George, didn't we?
Yeah, both concessions were going well.